All right, what's up? Welcome to As the Culture Turns. My name is Jameer. I'll be your host for today's episode. I actually have two very special people on the side of me joining me for today's episode. Y'all may have seen them before. So I'm gonna introduce them. I'm gonna start off with the female of the conversation today. We got Naya, who is a social worker, entrepreneur, all around woman. Say what's up to everybody.
What's up?
There we go. All right. And then next we got poet, activist, and gamer. We got Kendall in the building. What's up with you, bro?
What's up, beautiful people?
There we go. All right, we're gonna get into today's topic. But before we do that, I do want to just strongly encourage everyone to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just hit that subscribe button so you can stay updated on what we got coming up next. All right. So on today's episode, we will be discussing two different topics. And we're going to get into the first topic now that involves this woman right here. And if I don't know who she is, just let me explain it and we'll get into it. All right. So right here, I got a woman has gone viral after she ate a whopping amount of oysters on a date. Now, the internet believes her date was in the right for sneaking out the bathroom and leaving her to foot the bill. Now, there's more context to this. The woman who goes by Equana B on TikTok shared her experience of the date going wrong in a video that has been viewed more than 1 million times. She met up with her date at Fontaine's Oyster House in Atlanta, Georgia, where they offer a dozen oysters for $15. She proceeded to order a plate of a dozen oysters, followed by three more for appetizers only, not entree appetizers. By the end of the day, she consumed a total of 48 oysters and didn't hold back from loudly slurping each one. Now, Naya, I sent you something that you can read so you can give context of what she said.
Okay. Period. Because that's just disgusting. Okay.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
when the fourth plate came out, he was looking at me crazy. I didn't even give a fuck. Okay. And I had to. I had to. It was so good. So why the fuck he say he was going to the bathroom and never came back? I'm like, hold up. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Like, what this nigga at?
There we go. And this right here is something that went viral over TikTok over her feeling the need because the guy did invite her out on a date and he invited her out for drinks only. And she took that opportunity to order four oysters and she also ordered an entree after that, which was crab cakes and potatoes. Now she has went viral because she feel as though that if a guy asks you out on a date, then you have the right to order wherever you want, and the man need to foot the bill. Now, before we get into it, I just want to show y'all a few social media comments out there, and then we'll definitely dive into it. All right. So this first one right here. Oh, sorry, not that. This one right here. This one right here say, y'all forgot to mention that she devoured 48 oysters as an appetizer and proceeded to murder her entire entree. She was out of pocket for that.
For sure.
This person right here says, try to use him for food, and he Uno reversed it. We stand the king. And then finally, we got this right here. It says some of y'all women who are like this, making it hard for women who aren't like this and who are appreciative and don't do too much. And the final one I have right here is say, I don't know, they were small and $15 a dozen. I don't think it's that deep for real, but hey. So I want to start with you first, night, because at the end of the day, he did leave her to foot the bill, and this was his response to leaving the bill, to leave it, and then we'll get into it. So she texted him and said, running out on a tab is crazy. And he said, I offered to take you out for drinks and you order all that food. But I could cash app the total for you if you need to be. So what do you think about the whole situation, Nadia? What do you think about her ordering 45 oysters as an appetizer and then him running out on the bill?
One word, gross. Who eats oysters? Like, I'm just not even trying it. The shell alone looked like it's something, like it was chewed up in the ocean, like a whale chewed it up and spit it out at the bottom of the sea. Like oysters, though, no. I barely want to chew clams and mussels because it has a strange texture, but they're not that bad. But oysters, and they're not even cooked. I know she got the raw oysters. She didn't get the cooked oysters. She got the ones you slurp and suck out, and it's probably a weird type of chew. So my whole thing is, I'm not going there to order oysters. That's what she effed up at. He seen that and got disgusted. He was like, this greedy hoe. She should have went in there and got some wings and some mozzarella sticks, some nachos or something. Something that's just desirable because that was gross. But
So the
again,
only issue you got is with the oysters and not the fact that she ordered 45 oysters as an
that's
appetizer.
greedy.
48.
It's greedy.
48.
But you gotta think about it. When they're doing those oysters, I literally watch people and was so disgusted when they eating oysters. They don't chew them; they suck them. So maybe she could suck 45 oysters down before she actually felt full because she wasn't chewing. I felt like she shouldn't have ordered all of those. That's gross. And I feel like just because a man take you out, that don't mean that you gotta really go ham on his tab. I don't feel like that. But I mean, a couple drinks. But the thing is, I didn't like. Why was you willing to pay for her drinks, but you wasn't willing to pay for her food? Was you just trying to take her to the bed? Because I hate when a man was like, "Yo, what's up? You trying to go out for drinks?" Can you say drinks and food, please? Because if you just say drinks, that's just giving me that you only want to take me home to have sex with me. Because why are we only bonding over drinks? I need to eat too. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like he went wrong by just only trying to take her out for drinks. And she probably like, nigga, like I'm hungry too. But she didn't have to like put a dent in his pocket. If it was a dent in his pocket about his money, or he like, oh, you just got over on me. So I said drinks, but you still got food. So now I'm walking out. It was ignorant on his behalf, and then she did have to eat 45 oysters. Like what? Sucked 45 oysters.
This is right. And got the crab cake. And I got a picture of the menu right
And
here,
the
real quick.
potatoes, crab
I got a
cakes.
picture of the menu because I know the crab cake meal alone was like $30 by itself. And
Yeah.
then it was like the 4 orders of oyster. And then she had 3 lemon drops. So
Wait,
the
what?
total of the bill came up to $180. So
When
I want to ask you this. I want to ask you
wait,
this before I pass over to Kendall. Oh,
look, because when I go out with a man, I pretend like I'm not that hungry. She had no shame in her game. That's what's funny. You know, when women go out with men, it's like, I mean, I ain't that hungry. I just get a little something, something. She like, F this. I want 45 oysters. I want the most expensive meal. And I want some potatoes and corn on the side because I seen something on the table.
literally, yeah. So my thing with that is like, do you think that the way that he responded, and I pass it over to Cadell. Like, how do you think he should have handled the situation? Because we probably all can agree that running out on the bill probably wasn't the best way to handle
That
it.
was corny
What would you how do you think he should have handled it if he didn't want to put a dent in his pocket like that?
for myself. Okay. Um, One, I don't know because how can you tell a woman that you sit next to like, all right, that's enough oysters now? Like it's not like you're going to sit there and
Just
say,
like that.
oh, you got the 30 oysters, you got to cut the tab here now. It's like because then it's going to give broke. Then it's going to give like what? But it do have to be a limit. Like somebody had to stop her. And it wasn't going to be him, so he walked out on a bill, and I feel like to walk away was corny. If he wasn't interested in her because I'm telling you, it could have been the way she was sucking them oysters down. So he could have still paid the tab. I feel like he could have still like, all right, how much is everything? I'm about to run out real quick. And if he would have cashed after her and then left her, that would have been more bossy than just leaving her without anything. But he said, I'll pay for the drinks. But she only had one drink anyway.
She had 3.
Oh, three.
Yeah,
What
she
was it?
had
Like
3.
$12, 12, 12, 12 is
Right.
what? 36?
Like 3
Yeah.
lemon drops. So the total bill altogether was 180. And to point out, he only had 1 drink. So she ran up that tab almost by herself. But I do want to get Kendall in on this
Wait, how
because,
long was he gone from the table before she started ordering
She said
everything?
10,
well, in
20,
the
30
10,
minutes.
20,
So
30 minutes,
Oh
like
yeah,
he
she
was
she,
gone from the table the whole night. He didn't come back.
yeah, he ain't come back. That's when she
Stop ordering.
realized. Literally. But what you think about it, Kendall?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I might not walk out, but when that bill comes, I'll be like, yeah, I got the drinks. I agree with when I said like I'm not really like okay, we're just going to go out and drink. I'm probably gonna like offer to like get at least appetizers and then at least an entree. But
Yeah.
if it comes down to the point, also before I even talk about the actual point, I do want to address, depending on how she's sucking down them oysters, I might want to be sure she come over, but we don't got to talk about that. um, as far as like what she's eating, I don't care that it's oysters. I care that she ordered 48 of them Joans and then had no intention of like covering any of herself. I also don't like the narrative that guys have to cover the entire thing. Like I'll pay the bill if it's what we agreed to. But if we agree to do something and then it's like you add 15 extra things on top of that, that's where it gets a little more iffy. Like, ooh, are you gonna chip in? And it doesn't even have to be because you're broke. Doesn't have to be because you feel like insecure about your wallet. After a point, I think it's arguably more obvious that she's trying to get somebody to pay for her whole fucking meal than it is for him to be just trying to buy her his way into bed. So him catch-upping her for the drinks, that's cool. But yeah, the oysters, I'm sorry, I'm not paying for all that.
That's crazy because I'm gonna say something about this real quick because number one, if you look at her and not anything, like she looks like a very expensive woman, you know, like she got like expensive taste, you know.
Right?
So number one, I do think that you gotta definitely date within your bracket. Not saying that I gotta spend bread on you just to date you, but her given the way that she physically appeared, and I know we shouldn't like judge a book by its cover, but it looked like the way she looked, I would figure I would spend some money on her. Second, I definitely do want to bring up the fact that she just feels she felt as though that ordering 48 oysters as an appetizer was okay. Like that's mad disrespectful, I think, because number one, groceries is high as shit nowadays. The world, everything is just high nowadays. So at least have some consideration on what you're ordering. Because my thing is, if anything, it could be like an appetizer, a drink, maybe two drinks, and then an entree. Like be considerate, but don't feel obligated. Feel like that just because I'm a man, I'm obligated to pay for your food. In totality, like no. And then I do think that him running out on it was a little coward. Like I wouldn't necessarily ran out on it. I
Yeah.
think I would have stopped her after the second order of oysters.
I
Or
wouldn't
be
even
like,
stop her.
oh,
When the bill comes, that's where I'm making the decision. I'm looking at the waiter. I'm like, yeah, so we're gonna split it. I'm paying for the drinks. And
yeah,
then when
but then
she's
by
like,
that, so you're not going to
or
stop
I'll
her.
pay
But what
for
if she got the
whatever
money?
limit I was intending to pay for. So if anything, it's like, yeah, I got the drinks, the appetizer, and then one of the orders of the oysters. But that she went and got I don't know. I can't imagine actually eating 48 of them Jones.
By herself. Like she ate 48 of them by herself. And if you do
But
see the video, she was slurping them down. I agree with you, Cadell, because I don't think the slurping would have like turned me off. You know, I don't think that would have turned me off, but it's the amount that you order as an appetizer, and then you proceeded to order more food after that. So you wasn't even done. So I've been that guy where I've known that a couple days I've been out on that I was just there to give a John a free meal. I know that she was like literally there for the meal. Like I didn't know that at the time, but afterwards, it's almost like when you go out to a bar and then like you say what's up to a girl, they automatically want you to want you to buy her a drink. Like, no, I'm not that type of person. You feel me? I'm not gonna just buy you a drink just to have a conversation with you. So I personally do think that she took it too far, but I feel like he could have handled it a little bit better. That's what I personally think on that situation, honestly. But that right there was crazy. 48 oysters as an appetizer is crazy. And
So
to me,
y'all really trying to say y'all gonna stop a woman? I'm just saying. I would never do what she did. I would probably want to have taste different things. Okay, so if you were rich and you really had money, would you have said like, all right, that's a budget? Or if you just got money, you just get money. Are you gonna say like, oh, would y'all still say, well, or you just were like, well, I mean, I can pay the tab, so it don't really matter.
like to me, like if I'm rich, like I can't even put myself in that mind state because if I'm rich, I probably wouldn't care. But
no, even if I'm rich, I care. Even if I have like $1 million in my pocket and then however much in the bank account, at that point it's just a matter of like you are here and you clearly have no actual care or consideration for my wallet, period. Meaning you're probably willing to open-endedly spend however you want as long as it's my money that's going toward it. That's what's problematic to me. I would care regardless.
I do also feel like she didn't have to get that many oysters, but her tab wasn't as expensive as I see other tabs, and she could have really went haywire, but she didn't.
But do you think $180 for one meal? This is not no leftovers.
And he said he was taking her out for drinks. If that's
For
the
drinks.
agreement, you're going to a bar, you're going to a club or whatever, and you're just getting drinks. That's one thing.
Right.
I would also preface and probably make it clear, like, oh, did you want to get yourself some food? I got the drinks. And then you just kind of separate that out. But I think that's just how adults communicate.
Exactly.
I feel like that's kind of embarrassing if I did go out with somebody and they ask me out. This has happened to me, and I'm not going to talk about it because it's somebody that a lot of people
Talk
know.
about it.
Mm-mm.
You ain't got to spill the nasty grimy.
Yeah.
No, what I'm basically saying is I have been in a situation literally where somebody asked me to go out, right, to get something to eat. So when we went out to go get something to eat in Baltimore, right, and we out eating, well, we about to eat, right, and I really wasn't that hungry, but when we are getting our orders, right, when we went to the register, the guy asked, okay, what do you want to eat? Is it on the same tab? And he said, no. I was like, oh. And it was a cheap place. It was like a cheesesteak place for real. So I'm like, that's crazy. Like, why did you ask me out? Like, I
Yeah,
thought,
that's a little much. I'd probably at least treat for like the first dinner or
and
whatever.
listen, I'm like,
Mhm.
nah, it's okay. I'm not that hungry. Because now it made me look at you like, I don't even want to eat with you now. So I'm sitting there and he's eating. He was like, you hungry, ain't you? And I was like, I
How
didn't say
dare you be
that. Like,
hungry
I
on
mean,
a
I'm not.
dinner date?
Like, I ain't gonna lie. I did eat a couple of his fries when he offered it, but I really should have not because the fact is like, why you really try to play me and you
No,
invite?
no, y'all gotta stop thinking this. Good,
Yeah.
decent quality men won't give a damn. Like if you come in, you're just like, oh, we're going out to eat. Guess what? I'm going to be hungry. That's gonna happen. Like, don't ever limit yourself for somebody. If you gotta limit yourself for them, you're already setting the terms for a poor relationship. Already.
Mm-hmm.
So what you
Like
saying?
Absolutely.
What you trying
if
to say?
what I'm saying is like if I take a girl out
Yeah.
and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get my food, I'm gonna get some fries or whatever, and then she's like, oh, I'm not gonna get like fries, but I'll get like a sandwich. Can I have some of your fries though? I'm be like, cool, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna like I
Right.
could
He
probably
just
eat all the
put it down
fries.
with me. And it
Yeah,
wasn't
I'm never
for
going to
cheesesteak. It
judge
wasn't
somebody for
really,
that.
but how about that? That
Wait,
cheesesteak
wait,
was
wait.
corny.
What'd you say? You were
Yeah.
cutting out.
Yeah, you were cutting out.
Oh, I was basically saying like he was trying to be funny and trying to be smart whole time. That cheesesteak wasn't even like it basically I'm saying it wasn't from Philly, so the joint was corny anyway. I was being funny.
'Cause I was
Yeah,
about to say that. I was about to say, where'd you get a cheesesteak from Maryland from? Like, that's
it,
where you
it's
should be getting your seafood from there. But you
It's a
about to say
common thing
something?
that
Back
dudes do. It's called negging, where it's like you playfully like mock somebody or like bully them a little bit, so they're like, oh damn, okay, so he's not just gonna simp for me. He's gonna throw shade here and there. It's
yeah.
supposed to make you feel that slight bit of insecurity, so you feel the need to like chase more or. Like I said, so you don't feel like he's simping for you, but
Exactly.
that's you don't do that with food. It's weird. People have like insecurities about eating. Like you just said, you were literally saying like I shouldn't even have eaten that much because of the perception, basically. It's like, really? Like that should not be normal. You shouldn't normally be so hyper self-conscious about what you're eating or the fact that you're eating at all when you're being taken out on a dinner date. You're supposed to be
Exactly.
hungry.
And you better eat. And I just want to ask you this question, and then we'll go to the next one. Did you have it clear, like when he asked you out, was it clear that he was gonna pay for everything, or did you just assume that he was gonna pay for everything because he was the man and he asked you out?
I think it was both because he said, "What's up? You want to try with something to eat?" Normally, when a man say that, I feel like it should be specified that you're not going to, and it's not me just actually. Because come on now, when a man asks you, "Hey, you want? I want to take you out, or do you want to grab something to eat?" You're thinking that. Just like if I asked him that, it's like kind of my not my responsibility, but if I'm asking you out on a date, like, "Yeah, what's up? You want to go here? I would take you here if you want to go." So if I tell you, let's go to Sky Zone, you want me to take you to Sky Zone? You want to go to Sky Zone? So me and you go to Sky Zone. You probably think I'm going to pay, and even if not, you probably going to say yes
No,
Well,
most men won't think
it's
you're gonna
because you're a
pay.
man. So
if
that's the point.
it's the language
And
for
so
it. Like,
you asking me out, I'm thinking that you are going to pay, and I think his bill was like 18, not over $20. So it's like, then you really could have paid it. If he didn't have it, that's cool. Like I understand. Like I'm
yeah, if
not.
I'm taking someone out, I'm paying for the bill. If I say like,
Mhm.
"Hey, do you want to go to the movies?" I'm probably going to have like the further conversation or clarify whether or not I'm going to grab both tickets. But for the most part, like I think it's fair to assume if you're reaching out to invite somebody out somewhere, unless you specify that they need to pay for themselves, it's usually considered that they that you're going to cover them.
Yeah, and I just do think it's like what you said earlier. Can like us as adults is about communication. So I feel like if you thoroughly communicate, like, because if I ask a girl to like go out and everything, and she's not, what the fuck is Naya at? If well, hopefully she hear this. If I'm taking a woman out and she's not, what's the word I'm looking for? Not she's not, and she's like, basically I should already know that I'm going to pay for it. That's pretty much that. Number one.
Hmm.
Number two, here she go right here. Um, fuck, you fought on the screen really fucked my train of thought up. I forgot what the fuck I was really about to say.
That's another
Back.
one for the
Right.
compilation.
Yeah, literally, like in the middle of it, I'm like, damn. But I forgot what I was about to say. But pretty much, I think there need to be communication there. Pretty much, like there need to be a clear line of communication, just period between it. So if I'm taking you out, and I think as women, y'all should not assume that a man gonna pay. Like you should be like, oh, you paying, and then that's how you figure it
That's
out. But to
kind of hard
assume,
I disagree with that because I wouldn't even make
no,
them question it at that
no,
point.
no, because my thing is, me as a man, I'm definitely going to. If I ask you out, I'm definitely going to pay. But I do think like for a woman to like make sure that you're not left with a tab and everything, you should just make sure that the man is paying. Like, oh, you got this, right? Because you should
Or
never
just make
assume
sure
that
you
he's just
got your
going to
own money
pay.
when you go out.
Because it's like what you said. Like, if a girl asks me, she, oh, let's go to Sky Zone. I'm not thinking she's paying unless she verbally say that she's paying. I'm
Mhm.
assuming that I'm paying. You
But
know, so
that's
I don't look at it
different.
like she's
Like
paying.
I get what you're saying, but it's a little different because it's not like we're expecting, like we're trying to put that pressure on you, but it's like a man is meant that men are supposed to provide.
Gender norms.
Okay, like I said, it's meant that men. Did we talk about the holding of the door thing? We just talked about this last week on the other show. But it's just like we know men to provide and us to nurture and to take care of y'all and to make sure y'all comfortable and to not be all amazed, but make sure other things is taken care of. So I just feel like, I mean, I don't mind paying a tip. I don't mind doing that. But if you're asking me out, I'm getting that you're paying. I'm not thinking about, oh, I'm paying. But when I have to, it's like, oh, that's just my bill.
Yeah, so you don't think that just
If
like
I,
again,
I'm
it's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong with how you feel with that. I just think like I'm just going off of like the assuming part, like assuming somebody's going to pay. You know, like that is how it goes. That is normally tradition. But nowadays we got all types of relationships. We got man on man relationships, woman on woman relationships. So it's not going to be the same for every relationship because not everybody is in a heterosexual relationship.
But
So
we
I
talk
think,
woman and a man relationship. I
yeah, I
can't
do get
when a man
that.
and a man is dating. They're gonna have to wrestle for that.
Okay, but we do got a lot of feminists out here that's independent women who probably make more than most men nowadays, and wouldn't mind grabbing the bill. So I just do think that a lot of women.
I've definitely done that plenty of times. But I'm just saying, like the norm of when a woman and a man goes out, it's expected that the man is going to pay. But it doesn't. If a man can't, I have taken the men I ever was ever in a relationship with. I have literally paid for us to go out to dinner. I had literally gave money. I literally have brought sneak all that. Like I don't mind doing that stuff because you're my man. Like it doesn't matter. And I hope that you'll do the same for me. That don't mean he don't got it. It's just that I'm doing it this time. You know what I'm saying? But if it's your
Yeah,
first time out with a man, or if this is your first time going to go get something to eat, I would think that if you're asking me out, that you're paying. But if it's something we're in a relationship, no, it should not fall all on the man. The woman should be able to step up and be able to take care of her man as well.
yeah, I definitely agree with you. I'm just more so on just like woman, just not woman, anybody, just in general. Let's just take it like anyone. Like when you go out to eat, like I definitely do think that communication should be had. Like, oh, you paying for it? Especially let's say if you don't got no money, Naya. I think just to save yourself embarrassment, if he was to run out on it, then like assuming that somebody's gonna pay. It's just for anyone. I think is like we should never assume things. We should always get clarification, confirmation that you're going to pay. But I'm the type of man that if I ask you out, I'm definitely going to pay for it. But all men not the same. There's a lot of men out here who is literally what's the word? Leeching off of women. So I definitely do think that you gotta think about all the type of men that's out here because every man don't operate that way, sadly, in this world.